Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do here is move my Mixamo plugins over. For those of you guys that don't remember the location, it's in C, Users, Student, My Documents, Maya, 2015 Scripts, and you just move all 5 of the, there's 4 files in a folder. You make sure to move those in there, and I'll paste the location up on the screen here. And we launched Maya and launched a copy of Unreal. And in Unreal, go ahead and launch a third-person new project in 4.10.2.
Should we be saving these for future use?
Yeah. We will, actually, this time. We'll go ahead and load in all of our stuff that we've been working with.
With or without starter stuff?
Without starter content. We won't need it. And we're going to make this really easy and fast this time. So go to mixamo.com. Please tell me that's not what I think it is.
Yeah, it's the tornado.
First Wednesday of the month.
Yeah, it's first Wednesday of the month. I live right down the street from an elementary school, so I hear it every Wednesday. Or every first Wednesday.
Okay, as long as we don't have to leave. Okay, so last time we had downloaded 2 animation assets from Mixamo. I just want to go over which ones those are. One of them says standing jump. So make sure you download that one. And then also download one called falling idle. So standing jump and falling idle.
Can I see what standing jump looks like?
Yeah. It's called standing jump.
Okay,
Standing jump and falling idle. Falling idle, he's just kind of floating there in space. And go ahead and download both of those. And Unreal has just popped up here for me, so I'm going to click on third person and go to no starter content and launch it. And while that's launching, I'm going to open up my animation ready file, my Thor animation ready file, and import the jumping animation.
No starter content, right?
Yeah, no starter content. So I'm going to open my Thor animation ready file, and then I'll launch my Mixamo script and import those animations from that I exported from Mixamo, the jumping. So click on the Animate tab like we always do. And let's see. And make sure to bake to controls in your Mixamo script.
How do you bring in the script again? I know through the script editor.
Click on the play button folder thingy.
This
No,
oh,
next,
this
yeah. And then, yeah, don't put that. So you put the script in now.
oh, I did. Yep, and baked.
Yep. Make sure it's the one where he's just open up your animation ready file and just import it again.
That's it.
That is your animation ready file?
Yeah, I guess that's
Okay, so that's okay, so we can fix that.
grab a coffee.
That's okay. All the animation ready file
Yep.
is
This is going to be a long, painful process, but
blank
I
file.
should come out as a big.
References over here. Save this file. You're not going to see it over anymore.
He most likely did.
Save this as ASCII. And now launch your Mixamo script to import jump animation. You got it, Casey?
Yes. You good over here?
You good, Roderick?
Yeah, I'm just gonna import Thor and then that and the door model, right? Or are we just opening up
Open
one
your
of them?
animation ready file.
Oh.
It should be called animation ready.
Yep, MA or MB?
That doesn't matter.
Doesn't
And do the
matter.
MA. That okay?
There is everything.
create a reference in a new scene of your Thor rig, which we don't have. Oh, there we go. Alright, so now let's save this as Thor animation ready MA.
Faculties unknown modes or data to preserve
Yeah, so I think we ran into this problem last time. So we just did the MD. Okay. Import your jumping animation. Guys, so I've seen like some problems here. When you're working with Maya, you can save as MA files or MB files. Some of you guys have been saving as MB and MA files, so you don't really know which files are right or wrong. It's really good to try and just pick one or the other. I choose MAs because they keep a lot more information, and I just stick with MAs. Sometimes if you save as MBs and you try and convert them to MAs, there's like unknown nodes in the scene and it gets really wonky. But anyway, so last time we figured out, so we need to start this jump from when he's like kind of crouched. So we'll start it at frame 10 and then he'll jump up, and we need him to jump up and hit the height of his pose at frame 23. So we need to select all the controls on Thor and delete everything before 10 and delete everything after frame 23. So the way you do that is select all the controls on Thor and make sure in the Mixamo script you've clicked the Bake to Animation button, so you see the all the animation keyframes at the bottom here. And then you want to go to Window, Animation Editor's Graph Editor, and hit F on your keyboard, and it will zoom in on the keyframes. And you want to slide to frame 10 and delete all the keys before frame 10 and all the keys, and then slide to frame 23 and delete all the keys after frame 23. So you should just have this chunk of keyframes now that's frame 10 to frame 23. And then the next step, you want to select this chunk of keyframes in here and then hit W in Maya to move, and then hold Shift on your keyboard and left click and hold and slide those to the right. Holding Shift will allow you to move horizontally in Maya without going vertically at all. And you want to shift those over so the first frame is at 0.
Select Thor, not just his head, but select the entire after the hit habit, so that shows you.
While you have this file open, so we don't accidentally save over our animation ready file, save this as a new scene and call it, so go to File, Save Scene As, and as a Maya ASCII, and save it as Thor Jump Start. Thor jump start. You guys good over there? Okay. And the next thing is, in Unreal, when the character jumps, so I'm just going to fire up Unreal here. You guys don't have to do this. You can just look up here. I'm going to double click on my character. And in my animations, I'm going to show that jump start animation. And as you can see, it's really fast. So he jumps really fast. It's 0 to 14 frames. But he's already up in the air at like 6 frames. So our animation, it takes actually like a little bit longer than that. So what we want to do is scale this animation back a little bit. So everybody look up here for a second. I'm going to show you how to do this, not in the graph editor. Okay? So if I select Thor here, I see the red keyframes down here. If I move to frame 0 and then hold shift and click and drag, I can select the keyframes in the whatever this thing's, the timeline, and then I can click the little arrow and scale them down. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scale these down to where they're around 8. And then I'm going to right click on it, and there's a little thingy here that's called snap, and I'm going to click that, and it's not going to do anything. But it doesn't matter. We want that to be about 8 frames long. There we go. So he basically, his jump is like a lot faster, so he gets off the ground quick. And then you want to make your timeline. Right now my timeline is 200 frames long. I only want to make that 8 frames. So my timeline's super fast now. So I should just have 0 and 0 and 8 and 8 on my timeline. And this is just a super fast get off the ground jump animation. You got that, Roderick?
It's not important. Import animation. I don't know the animation from Mixon.
Where's
Okay. I'll put them into standing jump and falling item.
Go to the next one. He might have exported, he might have downloaded Thor.
We're supposed to.
It's like not an animation, but your actual like character.
Like the actual there.
Yeah. You guys good to go?
Good to go. You look to be okay.
This is really good bones. And you guys that have gotten here, go ahead and export this animation. So go to File, Export All, and we want to save this as an FBX. And in here, you just want to make sure that under the Animation tab, that Bake Animation's turned on. and export this as Jump Start Unreal. And it should only be 8 frames long. Okay. So we get a problem here. The problem is that you don't have the Thor model in here. Is that it?
Yeah. Like, could.
So this is short, big animation.
Okay. So put it down. Standing jump. This is what you downloaded?
Mm-hmm. Is that the animation or is that the model?
That's the animation.
Standing jump right here and then falling idle. Falling down.
Where you coming from?
Select.
Because originally I was on that computer.
I don't think you have the right
Well,
files. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, originally I was on that computer, right? So it's sitting here. So
I don't think you have the right files too. Hey bud. Yeah, I just don't think you have the
yeah,
right files.
my files are really on that computer though. I was just
Yeah.
using it on that.
Bryson may have the files on there.
Yeah, that's what I was using. Was yours?
So go into his folder, open the animation ready file. And
Those
then,
were his.
oh, then I don't.
Didn't we change the name of it, Chris, last time?
Because to be honest, what I did, I just got your files and copied them over. Because yeah, 'cause I went in here, I went and got all this in here, so I have all that in my folder. And we tried opening up this one, and
It wasn't that one. Which one? What's the day? Yesterday.
I can sort by date.
Yeah, so by date, the way we go back to
Jump Start.
Jump start. Thor jump start.
21. So yeah. Jump out of skeleton. I think this one. Let me try.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna move on here. So go ahead and open your animation ready file again, and go ahead and import that jumping animation one more time from XMO. And this time we're gonna do the jump end. So when I look at the jump end in Unreal, it's like super fast. It's like 6 frames. He's almost hitting the ground, and then he's on the ground in like 4 frames. So we want to mimic that with Thor. So make sure to bake the controls, the controls on here.
Actually, no.
And what we're going to do is
And then just find the animation.
I think I know which one that you use. Is this the last one you left off of?
I would keep frames 28.
And I know we were working on it last time. It was the jumping animation.
I would keep frames 28 through 34.
If you need to, you can sign to the make another account and get those animations.
So again, using that technique that I just showed you, you can select them in here instead of going to the graph editor. Hey, you guys, don't talk while I'm lecturing, okay? It's hard to talk over you. 28 to 34, and instead of going in the graph editor, you can just shift select the frames in here and and just delete them in here. And then you want to move these frames. Again, you can shift select them in here and move them to frame 0. You don't have to do it in the graph editor. And then set your timeline from 0 to 6. And then go ahead and export this animation as jump end, Thor jump end, and save the scene as well. So save the scene as an MA. So this one will be called Thor jump end. And we're going to export it as an FBX as Thor jump end. Get it working.
Yeah, I'll use right thing just to actually. Do you mind if I grab some files?
Yeah, no problem. Any of your primary workflow, that part's
So you're
out of
good,
the way.
right?
Yeah.
So share one
So we already did the jump start.
You good, Casey?
You good? Oh, you just got it out.
So are you? Your files are on there. We're gonna do this really quickly, and I'm recording it too.
Okay.
Oh, now I
See that red line going up my arm?
do now.
Yeah, that must be it. Why is it?
Yeah, because it's no, you know it's coming.
Here's the thing, the other guy can go in there no fire. Like he has a little bit, just you'll know it's not.
Yeah, it's on. And just store folder, another round.
Just you can pull it like start at the beginning frame and just pull it like farther than keep going forward and pull it like farther than all there you go. It doesn't matter.
Well, as long as you
Just
get
selecting
content.
air on the end.
I do get the concept.
There you go. Set to 6. So yeah, frame rate goes to 6. Save it next.
Those things charge.
Are those cookies? Did you bring cookies for everybody? Oh, it's a hot dog? Okay guys, moving forward here, after you saved your file, your Maya file as Thor jump end, and you've exported your FBX from here as well, go ahead and open up the Thor animation ready file one more time, and this time we want to import the falling idol. So open up Thor animation ready, and then in Mixamo import your falling idol. And then don't bake that to controls. Yeah, import the falling idol with no bake. And then we want to reference in so go to create reference, and you want to reference in your jump start Maya file. So go to create reference, file create reference, then go to your Thor directory and reference in the jump start. And there will be 2 Thors in the scene and 2 different animations that are playing. You good? Alright, so we got 2 Thors in the scene and 2 animations playing at the same time. And if you scroll all the way to the end of your timeline here, you can see that Thor is in his falling idol, and then you also have Thor that did his jump animation here. And what we need to do is we're going to have to match the height of the falling idol to match the height of Thor at the end of his jump here. And and yeah, so the best way to do this is to well, the first thing we want to do, let's go ahead and match the hands of what he's doing in the top of his jump to the falling idol. So you can grab the controls for his hands that are like kind of pulled out and just move those and rotate them to look kind of like how the hands are in the animation above. They don't have to be perfect, they just have to be kind of close. And you can move the elbow controls too. So again, they don't have to be perfect, they just have to be kind of close. Close enough. And then grab the hand control on the hammer. Everybody with me so far? Anybody lost? And then when you're finished, set keyframes on the hand controls and the elbow controls that we just moved. So select all of them and then hit S. And now when you play that animation, the falling idol, his hands will be in that position throughout the whole animation. That case, you're just doing it from your eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as they're close, you're okay.
Hey Casey. So which folder was it?
It's just Thor hanging out.
Well, I'm saying what's the file?
Oh, the rig, the image that's sitting right there.
Thor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just now.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. Basically, what we're trying to do with this is at the end of his jump start, he hits a pose. And he's going to stay in that pose until he gets to his loop idle. We just want those poses to be relatively the same so that when they blend together, it doesn't look like this crazy light blend. Okay. Close enough. If it's not there, it's not there. Don't worry about it. So open your reference editor now and go to File, Reference Editor. And in your reference editor, you'll see two referenced files. We're just going to keep this open. And I want you to uncheck the jump start reference. And that will make Mr. Thor disappear. Oh, the other thing that we need to do is rotate his head up in the jump idle pose. So rotate his head up so he's looking forward. And then set a key. Because when he's idling, he needs to be looking where he's going in the air. And now what we want to do is we want to bake these animations, bake this animation to the bones. So you want to turn off the R on your bind joint layer. Or wait, yeah. Go ahead, or no, we want to bake these, use your Mixamo script to now bake the animation to the controls. So once we've adjusted the animation the way we want it, now let's bake it to the controls. So open your Mixamo script and click on the Bake Animations button. And once we've baked it to the controls, now we need to bake it to the skeleton. So in order to bake it to the skeleton, in your layers, there's the bind joint layer. There's an R by the bind joint layer. Click the R, which will give you access to the skeleton, and then go to Show, None, show joints, and then select all the joints, and then go to edit, select hierarchy, and then go edit keys, bake simulation.
I don't see the
Did you get the
So we baked the animation onto the controls from the Mixamo script, and then we selected the skeleton, selected the hierarchy of the skeleton, and then baked the animation onto the skeleton. Everybody got that?
I don't actually side drivers.
They're in the animation. Yeah, why don't you just shop it at Home Depot?
I have those.
You're good, right?
But I'll show you what's
Well, I'm gonna go back.
all right.
So now go to edit keys, bake animation.
Okay, we're at 16. Okay. Let me drive for a second. I'll show you real fast. Okay. I'm going to do this right-handed because I have to adjust the little size. Okay. So,
Maybe a good idea for both you guys, for just me to just give you the FBX files, because we only have 3 FBX files. Actually, I just give you my directory. That's probably the best thing, and then that way you guys have my files here. So let me save this. You guys have like a little drive or something you can give me.
I got my flash drive.
Yeah, just plug it in. Roderick's got it. So this is John. Okay, and I'll just give you this dump of all these files.
hoping there's enough
Did you get
space.
it?
So let me show you what's going on.
Because I'm also going to need that Mixamo file too. What you got?
Yeah, I got everything. I got all the files, everything. So, you guys good over there? Getting there?
Now put the file that originally had here. So let's see.
Bryson. Okay. So I'm gonna put. Where do you want to put this?
Just put it in that big blank folder right there.
That's the one
That's-
I gave.
This one. Yeah, put it
Okay,
in
I'm
there.
gonna call it
That's the
Thor
RBX?
2,
That's the Thor rig, bro.
Oh.
and then Roderick.
Sure,
I'm gonna call this Thor 2.
Here it works. Like up in here you can see it. Well, he's not textured, but that's Thor. Up here, he's jumping. Now I'm gonna try again, but with the files with the FBXs from everything. So we have storage. Well, that seems to work. Well, that works.
So I guess you're good now?
I guess I am good.
All right, you guys want to grab your thingies? If you just open up.
And I think I found out what the problem was.
All right, if you just open the file that's called thorjumploop.ma, my directory in there is called Thor 2. So if you just open that file, you will be completely caught up to where we're at.
Thor 2.
Yeah,
And
there's-
it's called Thor.
It's called thorjumploop.ma. And Casey, bake the bones, bake animation to the bones on Thor of this loop. So select the bones, select hierarchy, then edit keys, bake simulation. Okay, let's move on here. So now what we want to do is open up your reference editor again. So go to File, Reference Editor, and we want to turn back on our other Thor, which is jump start. So click the checkbox in your reference editor and turn that on. So you should have 2 skeletons in the scene here. And the reason why we baked the keys to the skeleton here is because it's much easier to select the entire skeleton with animation on it and move that around than it is to deal with all the controls and stuff. So what we need to do is we need to select the bottom skeleton and move it to where it matches the height of the skeleton above. And the way to do that is just go ahead and select that bottom skeleton and open up your graph editor. So Window, Animation, Editors, Graph Editor.
Chris, Maya's giving me fatal errors every time I try to open up the file.
Try and move it to the D drive. Move your files to the D drive. So in the graph editor, with the skeleton selected, you have translate X, Y, and Z, and these are what we're going to want to use when we move our character around. And we're going to want to move the points in the graph editor. So don't move the actual character in Maya, move the points in the graph editor. So select translate Y, for example, select all the keys, hit W to move, and you want to move them up. You'll have to use your middle mouse to drag them up.
Chris, for some reason I can't select.
Okay, I'll come help you.
Sorry.
It's okay. So you want to zoom in on the spine here and drag your character, and then you'll select the different controls in the, or the different curves in the graph editor, X, Y, and Z, to position the spine as close to the other spine as possible. So you just want to get as close as you can. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. All we're trying to avoid here is a radical blend when Unreal tries to blend these 2 animations together. That's pretty close. It doesn't have to be perfect.
What checkbox don't I have clicked?
Bind joint layer.
Still not.
Hey, Bryce.
Oh, okay. How the hell? Okay,
Yeah.
are you good? I got some. Okay, sure. You or I can go verify.
Hey, Bryce. Did Thor jump loop open for you?
Yeah, I opened up mine.
This guy.
I opened up mine, but it opened.
I tried that and it still gives me a fatal error.
It wasn't me.
So you're concerned with
It gives me a fatal error.
Select the user. Have you already
Hey, Chris, it's giving me fatal errors. It's only that file too. No matter which one, which way I open, I try opening up and open up Maya, then the file. I try opening up the file directly.
always want to open mine. You're just not having good luck today, are you?
I'm having horrible luck today.
Alright, we're going to try one more thing, and then if it's not working, then I just kick back. Just watch, because we're almost done. And I'm recording this.
And I opened up other files in there to see if it was anything else wrong. And all the other files open good.
Where are those files?
D drive, Roger Sites, Thor 2. Thor jump. Animation already opens.
Right. Where's jump?
Just jump.
And it's using like the loan first.
Try to open previous versions of Thor.
So
Yeah,
I'm
but-
gonna catch you up, okay?
Watch.
So I'm gonna turn back on the skeleton here. And then looking in Roderick Sykes. Shift and middle mouse for stuff. And try and line it up. What's that called? Jump stones. Yeah, because editing access. Jumps there. No, you're gonna have to do that. But yeah, that's just how now. So like, I'm going to move this and grab this to match the height.
Okay.
This is basically an inch there. Hit F. So we need to translate Y, Z, X, W. No, move fast. Middle mouse track. Match the height.
Do I hold V or do I?
You just use your middle mouse button.
You guys good? Good. You guys good?
Okay. Let's move on. It just has to be close. So don't freak out if it's not close. Alright. So now we should have Thor idling. The pose should be pretty close. It's okay if it's off a little bit. And now we want to export this. So in your reference editor, turn off the other Thor. So we want to turn off jump start in your reference editor. So all that should be in there is Thor idling in the air. And now let's go ahead and save this file as Thor jump loop. And we're going to export this as an FBX. Export all. And this one's going to be called Thor jump loop FBX. And I've got one in here already, so I'm just going to overwrite over that. It's called Jump Loop Unreal. Make sure Bake Animation's turned on. And now everyone will be happy we are done in Maya.
What's it called again? What?
Thor Jump Loop.
Okay.
So now go into Unreal. And we're going to go ahead and import all this stuff into Unreal again.
And we're naming the export file Jump Loop Unreal, or just Thor Jump.
It just
doesn't matter.
Jump Loop anything, doesn't matter.
So you have the animation FBXs in the same folder as the game model? Okay.
Yeah. You can do whatever you want with that to keep more organized.
Will it pick up on animations in a different folder?
Say what?
Will it pick up on animations in a different folder?
What does that mean?
Like if I have a folder for Thor, the character mesh, and then a subfolder for those animations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys, launch Unreal. And a new third-person project.
10.2.
Yeah, 10.2.
Third person, no assets.
What?
No.
Third person, no starter content.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So everybody that's got Unreal open, in your content folder, make a new folder and call it Thor. So click on Content, make a new folder and call it Thor. And now in that folder, click Import, and we are going to pull in, there should be an FBX called Thor 2 Unreal. Thor 2 Unreal. And you want to select the mannequin skeleton when you import that in the FBX options, UE4 mannequin skeleton, and then hit import all. and it's going to throw a merged bones error. Just click yes to all. It's going to throw some errors, just close those. And then when you're done, double click on Thor. You should have him in Unreal. Good. Good job. This guy.
He's quick.
Finally, when he gets to Unreal, he's good. It's all that mind stuff that gets him. It gets him. Gets him lost here. You good? Yes to all. This is the easy part, guys. This is all the hard work's done. You good, Roderick?
Yeah, I'm just. So we open up the man. We open up
just
the
open the mesh.
This.
Okay.
Oh.
So now comes the easy part. When you double click on Thor, on the left hand side, make sure you're on the mesh. Scroll down. We're going to load in our physics. And mine's actually already loaded for some crazy reason. I don't know how that's possible, but oh no, it's not. There should be a clothing tab. Click on Add Apex Clothing File, and then load the cape. And then scroll up to the material for the cape, and then there should be clothing, a drop down that says none. Change that to cape. And the cape will turn gray for a second, but then it'll start working. And then remember, we need to make the material two-sided. So double click on the cape material, and on the left hand side scroll down and turn the, yes, it's a checkbox, two-sided, checkbox on, and then hit save, and then close the material window. So now our cape is two-sided. And now we just need to go into our animation tab and load in all of the animations. So all you do is you come in here and you're just going to right click on each one of the animations, re-import animation, and then go track down your animation. And it's good to copy the directory that all your animations are in, because every time you hit right click and re-import, you might be able to shift select these animations and right click and go to re-import animation, and then they just pop up one by one. So third person run.
Might import that animation for all of them.
No, it won't do that. It'll import one and then it'll ask you for the other one. See?
Oh.
And then you look up at the top and it says this is third person jump. I paste my path in there. And then click on, so the third person jump is going to be the jump end. So third person jump will be jump end. There's another jump in there.
Is the file for running sword in place?
No.
Or run to Unreal?
Run to Unreal, yeah. Yes.
In the little asset browser,
Uh-huh.
I'm not seeing
Not seeing what?
the animations to be weird. That needs to be replaced.
When you imported Thor, did you change the skeleton to the Mixamo skeleton?
No, I didn't.
Oh. So I would close this project. And actually, try something. Go back to, so right click on Thor right here. Right click on that. Go to reports. Right click on it again. And go to
first third person jump?
The third person jump needs to be jump end.
Jump in?
Yeah. So this is jump end.
Wait, so you can shift select and re-import them all?
If you shift select them and right click re-import, it'll prompt you every single time, which is pretty cool.
Go to content, right click, make a new folder.
Yes, all.
You guys all good? Still be important?
You good?
Yeah, I just had to re-import again because I did them in mixed matched order, but I know the process.
All right. Good, Casey?
Yeah, what was the one we were supposed to import for just jump?
For just jump? Jump end.
Jump in was.
Jump end is third person jump. You good? Yeah, important. When you're done importing your animations, just go to File. You want to save your Unreal project, so just File, Save All.
The Thor for Thor walking, we're just called walk to Unreal.
Yep.
That's working. You're grabbing the wrong animations.
certain point, you just started importing certain files on its own. And I have it all set up, but I just want to make sure I have the right ones in place for those two.
Trying to do final content.
Is it still saving?
Yeah.
Hey Chris,
You good, Roderick?
I just wanted to see what these look like on your screen because
So click them.
I was importing things and I just wanted to make sure I import third person now. Okay, I need to re-import that one. That one I think is fine. Yeah, this one should be fine, but I need to re-import this one. But I'm trying to change it, but every time I click re-import, it'll just say import done.
Yeah, so what you do, if you've already tried to import an animation in here, you can't re-import it again. You right-click on it in here and go to Find in Content Browser, and it will then show it in here. Then you right-click on here and go re-import with new source.
Okay.
Cool?
Yep.
Again, what was that jump supposed to be? This is the first.
Jump end. Anything that you've exported, which we did it today, so I know you got it. It's called jump end. Ah, man. Okay, Stefan Bates. This guy. Stefan, we're gonna get you golden here.
Chris over there nodding his head. Yeah, you've done it before.
Casey, are you good to go?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you look at his animations and make sure he's got all the right animations? And Roderick, you good?
Just doing jobs.
I'm working on that. I just re-imported through the content browser, and I assume I have to go back in here and go to re-import in order for
These are all the correct files. So move, there's a directory in there called Thor 2. Move that to your D drive, and then to re-import all those animations.
That's the loop. No, you have the loop in place of the engine.
Good. So you should have all the files.
You have two versions.
still showing
Which one is
that
jacked up?
idle and show are jacked up. Everything else was.
Go to your content browser. So let's do it in here.
Yeah, I
So
tried
third
to
person
go
idle.
re-import with new source. I can get the file.
That.
So if you still have
Idle to Unreal.
Oh, I just got it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, said it was important. I went back and
sign in contract. Because now you don't set a draft.
Right.
Since you had a magic touch, it's probably going to work this time.
Absolutely. I think what it is just hasn't refreshed.
So let's play.
Do I need to exit out of the tab and go back in there?
Put this on. Little thing jacked on the top. So what you do is turn this off, double click on this idle.
Reinforce with new source.
So I
It just needs to like refresh.
Alright. I'm going to do that last file, then I'll be caught up.
There you go. Trevor, have you seen these things?
I haven't seen pictures of them, but not yet.
No, it's not HoloLens. It's
you put it on. Was the phone on? Yeah, make sure you turn the phone on.
So now, open up
Hold the side of the phone before you turn it on.
and jump is also set.
You guys good? Importing animations?
That one is
You just had to have a lot of questions when we get ourselves.
Did you ever fix this problem?
Start. I hate to be that person, like I said. Like,
What's not working on his?
Oh, it's just. Oh, we would done.
You all fixed?
Yeah, I just imported the wrong end.
So who are we waiting on? Stefan and Roderick?
Yeah, I'm just checking out the animations. I gotta make sure everything's working. And it looks like everything is working.
Able to
Why is the Unreal part easy and the Mile part is hard?
because you've done all the work. You good?
Yeah, I'm trying.
I would go back into mine. You should have everything you need.
Oh, jump start. Okay, that's right. This is
Okay, I'm getting past the Thor jump.
What file did y'all input for the third person stuff? The first, the end is
This one?
that one's for the image.
Yeah, you have one have two ends.
Oh, so it was.
So Luke is
Right, I think.
End is good. Jumpstart you're missing. Let's go with jumpstart. Right? Is that it? Jumpstart? Right click, re-import with new source. It's on the desktop.
Did you see
Jumpstart.
It's telling me just
But you kind of like going through like, yeah, you guys have to make your own character, pick your own character for any game that you want, and
Yes, something's wrong with that influence. So where's the jumpstart from?
it's Thor. What do you expect?
Luckily, they saved
Body
this.
crease so damn much.
Awesome.
It's
Yeah, I think we can do
So
something.
export as an NVX. Export it.
Stefan, you getting close?
Oh, can we do that? Like the gravity? Like, can we change the gravity of the cape in Unreal?
You would change that in mine.
I'm
good.
You good?
Yep. Yep, I'm good.
And I could have.
Is that good?
From what I hear, his is working, but his isn't.
It should be working. It should.
What do you see?
Well, I see stuff and then darkness.
Stuff and then darkness.
Okay. Everybody good? Everybody all good? Okay. So now, when you're all done, you should be able to hit play in. Oh, the last step is we need to swap out our character. So click the actual character in the game, and then on the right-hand side, you'll see where it says Mesh. Double-click the little mesh swatch. Actually, don't do that. There's a drop-down. Change it from Mannequin to Thor to Unreal. And then hit play. And now Thor should have all of his animations in there. He should jump and hit right his. He should jump, and his the top of his jump should blend right into his idol in the air. Mustafa, I'm gonna kick you out of this room if you start jerking around. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm just impressed. You actually pulled it off.
Now to make him shoot like
It's retarded. Okay, but there's some settings in here we want to adjust that I'm going to show you how to make things a lot smoother. Actually, this is pretty friggin' smooth, but I want to show you these settings anyway. If you hit stop, and I want you to click on your content folder and do a filter for animation blueprint. And you want to double click on the animation, the third person animation blueprint. And it'll open up the third person animation blueprint, and at the bottom on the left there's a little thingy that says anim graph. If you hit the little arrow down on that, there should be something that says default. Double click that, and it's going to show the anim graph here, and this is like what tells Unreal what animations to play when you're using the character and stuff. And as you can see here, we start off with idle run, and then it goes to jump start, jump loop, jump end, and then back to idle run. Now these little dots in between those animations are what tells it to blend between them. And if you click, for example, let's do jump. Let's do idle run to jump start. So click that, and I want you to hit play up at the top, and all we're going to focus on here is the idle run to jump start, and this is already pretty good, but you'll notice that when you hit the space bar, he starts moving up before he like if I had to critique this animation, he starts jumping before, like he starts going up in the air before he actually jumps. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. He's just very tall, and then he makes his captain motion.
Yeah, so he like plays his jump animation as he's almost kind of in the air. So if you have that little thingy selected there and scroll down to where it says duration, this is the blend duration. So if you change that, right now it's on 0.05, but if you change that to 1 and then hit enter and then hit play, this is a 1-to-1 blend. So as you can see, he goes from blending from the run to the jump. It's a 1-to-1 blend. Does that make sense? So it's completely smooth blend from animation to animation. So he's blending from the run all the way. So if you hit escape, and now if you change that to 0.5, that's half of that 1-to-1, and then test it. So that's now half as fast. So now he's blending from his run to his jump half as fast. So what we've done here to fix that is we've made it even smaller. So we've changed it to 0.05, and now what he does is he basically blends from that animation from his run to his jump like super fast now. Does that make sense?
I think it was 0.05.
It was 0.05 before, but I wanted to show you
Why it was 0.05.
why it was 0.05. And we could make it even smaller, so you could type in 0.025, which would be half of that. And now it's like real fast. Which actually looks okay. Now the other thing to look at here is when he comes back down, he lands from his land to start running again. As you can see, he kind of skates. He skates a little bit when he lands. And what that means is that his animation isn't blending fast enough on the land to blend into the run. So as you can see, when he lands and you're moving, it's kind of like he's on a skateboard or he's sliding on ice. It's because that animation's not blending out fast enough. So what we want to do is come back into the jump end to idle run and look at the duration. That's 0.1. So we could make that even faster, and it would be 0.05. And now that will blend out even faster. So now he doesn't skate as fast. If you want to end the skating even more, you can type in 0.025. And now this is a basic movement tree here, So theoretically what you would have is, so we have run to jump start. The starting in order for this to be like perfect, your jump start would be actually in like a running pose to start, and that would perfectly blend from run to jump start. But we don't have that. We just grabbed some animation off Mixamo and just tried to blend it. So we're trying to like patch up stuff here. But in a perfect world, the beginning of your jump start would be in a run pose. And then you would have multiple trees here, so that if the character, if you jump from an idle as opposed to if you jump from a run, it's going to be different. You'll play different animations. So you'll have idle to jump, and then you'll have run to jump. So as a character, you're going to jump from different states, so you want those to blend appropriately. This is a very basic like anim graph here. And the other thing is, yeah, so this is just a very basic one. Like, for example, everybody in here has played Mass Effect. If you move your character around in Mass Effect, they have really nice like movement blending anim graphs to where it looks way more complicated than this. Also, for example, like Uncharted, a game like Uncharted would have a very, really complicated anim graph. Like Prince of Persia, that also has a pretty complicated anim graph, because the animation's so smooth when your character runs around. It's because you have, idle to jump, idle to run, all these blending animations in between all your main animations, if that makes sense. So like, for example, something that would make this better, Cameron was talking about wanting to get rid of this skating even more. Well, the trick isn't to like dial this number down. The trick is to create an animation. So right now you have jump, loop, and run, right? But we don't have a jump, loop, to run animation. So if you had that would so you'd have 3 animations. Right now we have 2 animations, but you would add a third and then blend those together, and it would blend even smoother. So the more in between animations you add and blend those together, the smoother your transitions will be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Cool. So right now this is just a very basic one. Anyway, that's all I have for today.